Michael Remis here with the Winnipeg Sports Talk post-game report, ready to break down all the excitement from the Jets' impressive 6-3 win over the Nashville Predators at Canada Life Centre. Before we get into the game, just want to give a shout out to everyone watching right here on YouTube. If you're here, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and join the Winnipeg Sports Talk community. Joining me from the press box at Canada Life Centre is Connor Hrabchak. Connor, how's it going? What an eventful night. The Winnipeg Jets winning 6-3 over Nashville. We're going to break down the game. We'll go period by period. But overall, thoughts on the Winnipeg Jets play, extending their win streak here to 3.
Yeah, what an entertaining night at Canada Life Centre. It seemed like the crowd here was loving it. I had a few people that attended the game, and they were all texting me, what a great game, what an awesome game. It just seemed like a fun night to be in the building. The Jets put up 6 goals, Connor hat trick. Just a great game all around from the Jets. And if you were a fan attending, you had a blast because there was a lot of drama, a lot of goals, highlight reel plays, fights. This game had everything.
Yeah, we try to keep this concise, but in a 6-3 game with many penalties and, as you mentioned, fights, a lot to get to. And for the Winnipeg Jets, coming in, first game off a road trip against a team that's below you in the standings, you'd like to think they could pull out a win. And I don't think this was wasn't that close, for majority, but it was still very entertaining game. And the Jets continue to play, consistent hockey, just the same way all the time. And it was the top line 2 games in a row here, getting it done for them.
Yeah, it's been the third line for so long, the Lowry line. We get into naming lines, and then one line outperforms the other. But the Connor Scheifele Iafallo line the last 2 games has been great, and it was no different in this one. Especially Iafallo coming off the 4-assist game, and then Connor hat trick, like I said earlier. And then Mark Scheifele had a quietly good game and a lot of nice back checks, which was an emphasis in the post game. And I'm sure we'll get into it. A lot of back pressure, a lot of transition. Those are all the key words that the players and coaches were saying in the post game, and it showed on the ice tonight.
Yeah, Mark Scheifele finishing the game with 4 assists, tying the franchise record that was tied by Alex Iafallo in the last game. He had 4 assists. Craziness. Oh. We'll go through the game. The game here, got the notes. Jets opened the scoring. Mason Appleton, 4 minutes in from Lowry and Niederreiter, that line, getting it done. A nice zone entry from Niederreiter to Lowry. Does this back through the legs back pass. I'm watching. You're in the slot, man. What are you doing here? Passing off to the side, but Appleton throws it on net. He said it bounced off a defenseman and in, and the Jets are off to a 1-0 start there.
Yeah, Mason Appleton. Sometimes you just get lucky. This Lowry line has been scoring these pretty goals off the rush, this whole hot streak that they've been on the past couple games, and then they score this one. Appleton just throws it off the defender skating in. Lucky start, but if you're the Jets, you take it, gets the crowd into it. Good start.
Yeah, and that's the line that's been getting it done for them the last bit here, but they had the lead. It wasn't for long. A couple minutes later, Jets playing some aggressive D. Brendan Dillon pinches, and Connor might remember I talked about this play. I don't like seeing it. We talked about it in our.
I actually thought of you. I thought of you when it happened. Yeah.
In our St. Louis post game, Nate Schmidt is on a 2-on-1. It might even be a 2-on-2. I don't know if he knew Appleton was there, and he went for a swim, dove on the ice, and usually guys will either skate around you or they can see it and pass it under to the other guy. But this was an impressive move by Forsberg, his first of 2 on the night. Toe drags all the way around Schmidt and puts it in past Brossois.
Yeah, an incredible play from Forsberg, but like we said in the St. Louis post game, and like we'll say again here, kind of a nothing play from Schmidt. You go down on the ice and you have one hope when you do that, and that's that you swing your stick and the puck gets jolted away and you catch the puck. Obviously, he misses. Forsberg toe drags, and the game is tied just like that. I think this was more of a 2-on-2, which makes the swim even worse from an outside perspective. We said last time, we clarified, we are not NHL hockey players. We do not know anything in terms of playing defense at the NHL level. But in a 2-on-2, I would have liked to see Nate Schmidt stay on his feet there and defend it head on instead of, swimming.
Kevin Sawyer was a bit critical of that too, saying it maybe he didn't know Appleton.
Okay, so we're good.
Appleton was there, so we'll defer to Kevin Sawyer on that one. But then look, it's tied 1-1, two divisional opponents. The bodies start flying around. Rasmus Kupari takes a hit from Jeremy Lauzon, and I actually thought that Kupari Berlin had some nice chances there in that first period. Lowry takes exception to that, and they drop the gloves. And I'm like, well, normally like Adam Lowry, but he's kind of been playing, third, fourth line. Like, hey, they need him to score goals. That line has been awesome. He shouldn't be. He's the captain. He shouldn't be dropping the gloves. But you like to see him stand up for his teammate. It was actually really nice of Lauzon. Lowry fell down and let him get back up. And Lowry, I think in postgame, gave him credit. I've seen the Tkachuk bros continue to punch down opponents in the face. So some nice respect there from Lauzon.
The Tkachuk one against Scheifele, actually. Like the home opener this year, Scheifele and Tkachuk fought. Scheifele falls within a second, and Tkachuk gives him like 2-3 good punches while he's on the ice. Credit to Jeremy Lauzon for not doing that. And Adam Lowry just standing up for Kupari, who left the game for a couple shifts, came back, and that fourth line actually had some good shifts throughout this one.
They did generate a number of chances that fourth line. Let me just check there. Yeah, I mean, Baron, Kupari, Gustafsson. I didn't even notice this. Okay, their expected goals, 0 expected goals against at 5-on-5. 6 shot attempts for, 3 against. Wow, how did you have 0? Not even .001 expected goal with 3 shot attempts against. All right, well, good, nice solid game for them.
Maybe they were on the ice with Dylan Samberg and he just blocked all of the shot attempts.
You could be right. Yeah, Dylan Samberg having it. We'll get into Samberg as we go on here, but Lowry got out of the box and then had to fight again. He laid a hit in the corner, a clean nothing hit, and who is this player? Cole Smith drops the gloves with Lowry. I don't know what you thought of that one, but Lowry's 2 fights in the first period.
Yeah, I mean, Lowry said he didn't want to fight. He doesn't want to fight twice in a period, and he doesn't think that's going to happen going forward. But he said like young player trying to make a statement in the lineup. I don't know if Cole Smith saw the hit because, like you said, it wasn't like a bad hit or anything, but he responded. Lowry had to drop the gloves, and then Lowry fight. Comes right out of the box, takes a face-off, offensive zone shift, fight. So he sat for like 10 minutes with a little 30-second breather on the ice. But 2 fights from Lowry in the first period. I jokingly tweeted that he was on pace for 6 after the first period. But you don't see that very often.
No, and I was like, I don't want to see Lowry fighting. He's got to be on there to score goals. That's one of their
on the top line.
10 minutes in the box. I mean, that's too much. And Cole Smith, what is he? He's actually 28 years old.
Never mind.
Lowry.
I will defend myself. I think Lowry called him a young player.
Lowry called him a young in terms of NHL experience. He's got less than 100 games. They give him a shout out on the broadcast. Played for the Steinbach Pistons, UND, from Brainerd, Minnesota, which has the great golfing. Brainerd.
Okay.
So they'll give a shout out to Cole Smith. Hey, gave the Jets a power play. I thought the power play, they didn't. They were 1 for 4 tonight. On that one, I thought the power play, much quicker movement. They're not standing around waiting for a tap in, and they have someone in front of them. On that power play there in the first period, they did get 4 shots. Minute 38 possession time. Shout out to. I don't know, Kevin Sawyer's coming out with all these stats telling me miles per hour on shots during the game. So I'll get those. So, they had 4 shots in that power play, minute 38 possession. I thought it was a nice power play. They didn't score. And the first period ended, and who was it? Kupari and Barry, you talk about them. They had a couple chances at the end. But, I mean, first period, tied 1-1. I think you had to be pretty happy with the way the Jets came out of the gate there.
Yeah, and there was the Arizona game. That was a slow start. The St. Louis game, they actually got off to a good start in that first period. But the Arizona one was so concerning. They had 4 shots in the first period. And then St. Louis game, they have a good start. Tonight, they have a good start. 2 divisional opponents. that's what you want to see. You want to get off to a good start. You don't want to be trailing every game. And yeah, great start. The Lowry fights obviously got them going, but it was only 1-1, but it wasn't indicative of how they were playing. And it carried over into the second period, where I think the first 10 minutes of the second period, the Jets just flat out dominated Nashville in this game.
Period was where all the action happened. I'm just looking at shot attempts there. Of course, 16-13 for the Jets after one, but I'm not sure what the actual shots on goal were. 14-7. That's interesting to note. And second period, started out with a bang. Kyle Connor scoring his first of 3 on the night. He enters the dome. He dumped it in, actually, which I was kind of surprised, and got it back. They cycled it down. Got it back to Connor, who did a good job keeping it in, to Mark Scheifele behind the net. And Kyle Connor all alone in the slot. It was almost too easy there.
He's the second leading goal scorer in the NHL. Can't leave that guy in the slot, right?
No.
No, but I really liked on this play, Mark Scheifele. I thought, like, from a bird's eye view and from the replay, it looks to me Gustav Nyquist is right in front of Kyle Connor in the slot. And then Mark Scheifele kind of looks to the point. I'm not sure if it was Morrissey, Dillon, or Sandberg at the point, but he looks there. Nyquist kind of shifts over, and then he fires it kind of back across right into the middle of the ice. Kyle Connor, like, who else would you rather have taking that one-timer in the slot? Makes no mistake. But I really liked the pass from Mark Scheifele and him using his eyes to move defenders.
Really nice play there, 2-1, and about almost 3 minutes later, Kyle Connor again, and he gets sprung on a breakaway, makes a beautiful move to cut to the middle, and waits, puts it back behind UC Saros. I don't even know how he put it in on this angle, and it's kind of funny. Back in March 2019, he pulled a very similar move, dangling by PK Subban. It was almost deja vu, and Connor had a good laugh about that one after the game. But what skill? He's had some real beauties this year.
Was that, for your money, was that the Jets' goal of the year so far?
That or his other? What was the other one? Was that against Vegas?
Oh yeah,
was that the one?
I think the Mason Appleton bench stick one also, like where Lowry caught on the fly. That one's up there too.
Yeah, that's going to be up there. There's a couple early candidates.
There's a couple, but this one was definitely one of them. What a ridiculous move. It was identical to the one he pulled off in Nashville. When we're done here, I'm going to search it up because it looked identical in live time. I haven't gone back to watch that one yet, but yeah, what a move. And then the defender kind of slides into the net. Like, Kyle Connor breaks his ankles and the defender just slides right into the crease. I don't know if that affected Saros at all, but the puck kind of goes under his pad and then straight through the net because the defender hit the net like kind of off its moorings, and then the puck just went into the corner. But everyone knew it went in. But yeah, just an incredible goal. Kyle Connor was in control and everyone else around him was chaotic. And then the puck somehow found its way into the back of the net.
Yeah, part of that started Mark Scheifele with a very nice back check into the neutral zone, breaking up a play. I think it was Dylan DeMello springing Kyle Connor, and that was Dylan DeMello's first of 2 assists on the night. A very quiet 2 assists for Dylan DeMello on the evening. And look, at this point in the game, the Jets are out shooting Nashville, 15-7. The pressure's on. Nate Schmidt had a nice shot. I remember Ehlers followed up with a rebound. They had some nice that top line again brought the forecheck and forced a puck over glass for a power play, their second power play of the game, and they weren't able to get too much going. But Nashville then took an interference penalty, which led to a 5-on-3. And after some nice passing, Cole Perfetti scores his second. Again, a guy all alone in front of the net. What is a pass? Mark Scheifele shoots. Cole gets the rebound. There's nobody there. It's a 5-on-3, and Cole's now scored in back-to-back games. His third of the year, and the Jets, 10 minutes into the second period, they're up 4-1.
Yeah, the 5-on-3, the power play, we wanted it to get going. This is when they scored. Cole Perfetti left all alone in front. And I just searched up like his raw point totals on the year because I know his analytics have looked really good to start the year. But his raw point totals, you said he got his third goal of the year. He's got 7 assists for 10 points in 13 games. Like Cole Perfetti's quietly having a fantastic start to his season. And we've talked about that second line kind of needed to get going. Nikolai Ehlers still knocking the rest off. He had some flashes in this one, but Cole Perfetti has been like extremely responsible in that top six, both defensively and offensively. He's starting to gain the trust a little bit of the coaching staff. He's not getting benched as much late in games. But again, 10 points in 13 games in the top six, on the power play, on the top unit. Like Cole Perfetti's having a great year, and it's just kind of flying under the radar given how good the top line has been in certain games and the Lowry line, obviously. But yeah, great start to the year from Cole Perfetti, 10 points in 13 games.
Yeah, last year Perfetti, 30 points in 51 games, and then he got injured. And he was on his way to being up there for rookie leaders in points, and he could have been more likely to get a Calder Trophy nomination. But you look at what last year he was 0.59 points per game. This year he's at 0.75 after 12. We'll see how that continues. And the Jets are now up 4-1. They're out at that point. They're out shooting Nashville 23-9 in total control. But I don't know. I think they all got excited. Everyone wanted to get on the ice and try to score more goals because what a bench minor for too many men. And right after that, Philip Forsberg walks in. This was a ridiculous snapshot, wrist shot. That had some power. Kevin Sawyer said in the broadcast, 90-mile-an-hour snapper. This was actually a 4-on-4 goal because it was 5-on-4 after Perfetti scored. And it went right through Brossoit. And now it's 4-2, and you're kind of like, uh-oh, what's happening here? But that was Forsberg's second, and that was just, I don't know. Maybe we could argue Brossoit could have got in front of that and went literally through him, but that was you'd see why that guy scored 40 in the NHL before with a shot like that.
Yeah, and my mindset has kind of changed now that you bring up that information that it was a 90-mile-an-hour shot. Like just from my angle, from the replays I saw, I also thought, wow, Brossoit kind of should have had that one. Mainly unscreened. I think it was Morrissey. He wasn't really in the way. Forsberg shoots it, but yeah, if it was 90 miles an hour, Philip Forsberg, one of the most talented players on the Predators, again, like you said, 40-goal guy. And then in the third period, he had a ton of chances too, but it was actually Dylan Samberg who was kind of making the saves on the penalty kill. But yeah, that goal, at first glance, I thought maybe Brossoit should have had that one, but it kind of, now that you bring that up, I don't know. I might be changing my mind a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that thing had some power.
Yeah.
Power behind it, but look, it's 4-on-4. They're still going, and another too many men. Back-to-back too many men calls for the Jets. Remind me of the Oilers a couple weeks ago, had a bunch. So, but back-killing penalties, and Dylan Samberg really stood out tonight. He had 9 blocked shots, which is absurd. He even blocked one off his knee that then hit him in the face. I mean, what toughness.
Yeah.
Dylan Samberg showed tonight. He got the jacket. I'm sure, assuming Connor got the other jacket. But hey, the Jets, they're still got the lead. Brossoit's making some saves, and by the end of the second period, they're out shooting Nashville 28-12. They're in total control until those too many men's. They did outshoot Nashville again, 14-8 in the second period, but a little fireworks there at the end. A big scrum to Melvin Trevin. One thing we do mention, there was a play. I don't know what you thought when this happened, but Morgan Barron went back on a back check and came down hard on Gus Nyquist's stick and broke Nyquist's stick. I think everyone in the arena thought it was Barron's stick.
I think was it not Barron's stick?
No,
I thought it was.
Barron went in and broke Nyquist's stick. And the Predators were all like, I know, I watched it and I was like, what? And then they showed the replay. And I don't know, that might have set the tone for some makeup calls in the third period because, it seemed like they weren't calling a ton in the first two, but it got a bit, as we tee up the third period, got a bit feisty there.
Yeah, and this is going to become a staple, just like defenders swimming on the ice. But we talked about the inconsistencies of NHL reffing our last post-game show. We're going to talk about it again here. Like you said, they didn't really call much the first half of this game, except for the obvious things. Too many men, like that's pretty obvious. And then there's all these ticky-tack calls. We'll get into the Ehlers one. I didn't really like that call. Even the Ryan O'Reilly interference, I didn't really think was too bad of a penalty on Nashville's part. Like, you see that happen. He did push him to the ice. I guess it's interference, but it's probably happened 10 times in the game already, and they haven't called it, right? And then what was the other one? There was a Brendan Dillon slash, which Canada Life Center did not like, which was definitely a slash in my eyes. I mean, I thought he, two-hand slash right to the hands, kind of affected the Nashville players' ability to pass the puck down low, which is what he was trying to do. But obviously, given what had happened up until that point, the fans didn't like it. But I thought that was a slash. But it's just such a question mark around half of these calls that were made in the back half of the game. Really.
Yeah, and we'll start, the third period started. It just seemed like the Jets were kind of playing a little prevent defense. They have a sizable lead. They're all playing Nashville. They're happy just, try to kill some of this clock and get out of here with a win. But, start with Rasmus Kupari got hauled down. It looked like a hole. A guy maybe grabbed him and threw him to the ground, and there was no call. And then Ehlers is, I don't know, he's chasing down Tommy Novak and like kind of reached in for a second and got called. What was the official call? I'm sure it was holding.
It was a hold. Yeah.
It was holding.
I didn't like that one.
But I didn't see a hold on it. So Nashville gets a power play, and full credit to the Jets penalty kill. They went perfect, 5 for 5 today. So Nashville didn't end up scoring, but I mean the game was, they could have came back here. And yeah, Brendan Dillon got that slashing call, which I didn't think it was that forceful.
I thought it was a slash.
Yeah,
personally, I did.
I didn't think they need to call it, but sure. Then they get another one, and then the Jets. The Jets did end up getting a power play after that too. It was the Ryan O'Reilly interference, and you said you weren't a fan of that one. It was kind of like a makeup.
Ish. And then after the goal interference, there's we'll get into that, but Nashville scores, and then Brendan Dillon scores, I believe, or no,
it was Brendan Dillon. He came off the big game against Arizona,
right?
And you saw it, man. That was a bomb. That was a clapper, and that was DeMello getting his second assist on the night. And yeah, they said no goal for goal interference, but you watch the replay, and Adam Lowry didn't really go close to Saros. I mean, he grazed his glove, but Lowry's not in the blue paint, so it seemed like a good goal. And thankfully, they reviewed it, and it was.
Right. And I also thought if you did think that him grazing his glove was goal interference, I thought he got pushed into him anyways. Like, Lowry's kind of coming across the crease, and the Nashville player bumps him, so he kind of falls into the glove of Saros. The puck goes by, and that's the goal, and they wave it off. And in real time, I don't really know how you could see that it was goal interference. Like you said, wasn't in the crease, but they waved it off, but then reviewed it and got it right. So got to give the refs credit on that for making the right decision in the end.
Yeah. I mean, they got the call right. I'm gonna be honest. I think NHL officiating pretty impossible. These guys are moving fast. We're having 90-mile-an-hour shots. His skaters, what's Rasmus Kupari? You got top speed of any player this year.
Right. I should say, I'm sitting up here eating popcorn saying, oh, that's a bad call. But put me on the ice, try and make these calls. I'd be awful. So let's have some perspective. They have a really tough job, and they did get this call right, the goal interference in the end, right?
Yeah. And then, then Perfetti little Cole Perfetti got a penalty. I didn't think he was doing much. What they call that one? Hooking? What was that? Hooking?
Yeah.
It was hooking. I think he kind of got the stick in there. Sure. Yeah. I mean, if they're calling everything at this point, sure. But
that was a call then. Yeah.
Good for the Jets. Perfect penalty kill on the night. They had the empty net, and every time the Jets have an empty net, you kind of get flashbacks to that Carolina game. I think there was a game this year too where they gave up a goal with the other team had the net empty. And who was it here? Phil Tomasino. Puts one in as a tip-in from Tyson. I think it was a Barry shot. So you're like, 5-3, okay. There's 4 minutes left. Lowry had a chance on the empty net, but it was meant to be. Kyle Connor. Oh yeah, and I'll say Sandberg did have some big blocks there, a couple in a row. He
Yeah, so
again,
the penalty kill, Dylan Sandberg, 9 blocked shots. And then there was the one kill where Philip Forsberg gets the puck once, winds up for a slap shot, blocked by Sandberg. Puck comes back to him, again, blocked by Sandberg. And then Forsberg actually went for a third one, but he fired that one high and wide. But I was saying up here, like, if he had blocked that third one, this crowd would have gone nuts. They were already, like, standing, clapping for him. But if he blocked 3 shots in a row from the guy who had 2 goals on Nashville up until that point in a huge spot late in the third period, that would have been huge. And it was a huge game from Dylan Sandberg, and it didn't go unnoticed. Adam Lowry brought it up. Kyle Connor brought it up. He had 9 blocked shots. Like, that truly takes sacrifice of your body to get in the way of a 40 goal scorer's shot, especially when it's a slap shot. And like you said, his snapshot is 90 miles an hour. Like, that would hurt, no matter where it hits you. So he got the jacket. He had a great game. He's been great all season. He's even added some offensive flair to his game. He's jumping up in the rush. You see that here and there. But the defensive side of Dylan Sandberg is what he's known for. And the Jets, like, he's fresh off of a contract extension. They just signed him for 2 years, $1.4 million in the offseason. So much of the talk was Hellebuck and Scheifele, so that didn't really get talked about. But that's great value for this contract for this year and next, especially if he's doing stuff like this every game.
5-on-5, what do they have? 61.9% of the expected goals. So nice night for the Schmidt and Sandberg pairing. And yeah, those 9 blocks, 4th most in a game in franchise history. Shout out to the Jets team for putting that. And that's a career high for Sandberg. And, Kyle Connor gets out there after they couldn't score on the empty net. And he gets the hat trick in the empty net. Hats come down. Nice 3-goal night for him. 4 points to 4 points. He had 1 assist. Mark Scheifele, we said earlier, 4 assists. Alex Iafallo, 2 assists. So this top line carrying them again to the victory. 3rd straight for the Jets, and a nice way for them to start the homestand.
That's 6 assists now in the last 2 games for Alex Iafallo, who, so much of the talk is Connor and Scheifele. Should they be split up? Should they be kept together? When they are together, they're dynamic offensively. But Iafallo has 6 assists in 2 games. Like, he's the perfect complement to them. And maybe Gabe Vilardi's even more of a perfect complement to them. And he skated for the first time this morning. Whether or not he goes back on that line, I'm not sure. If they remain this hot, I doubt it. But yeah, great game from Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele. Kyle Connor had the gorgeous goal in the second period. And there was a chance there with the empty net to pass it off to Scheifele, but I don't think anyone in the building expected him to pass that with his 3rd goal.
Yeah, so that's it. And the Jets winning, 6-3. They got another divisional game Saturday against Dallas, and I think they keep doing what they're doing. They've been playing the same way, consistent hockey, ending up in wins. Laurent Brossoit gets the start. I mean, this is against Nashville. Hellebuck's already played a couple in a row. This was the time to start him. Wasn't spectacular, but he made the saves. If you're looking at money puck goals saved above expected, he was in the negative, and it's kind of surprising the Jets haven't really been getting like that game-saving goaltending that you've seen in the past in terms of goals. 4 goals against per game, they were near the bottom of the league. So I think that's something to watch. But in terms of 5-on-5 play, they've been great, and you're looking forward to seeing what's next. What's next against Dallas. But any final thoughts here as we wrap this up?
Yeah, I mean, I think off of the St. Louis game, I was saying that game was one of their best games of the season. And now here we are. They follow it up. Nashville was 5-7 coming into this game. Now they're 5-8. So this is a team you should beat, home ice. But the old saying, first game back after, it wasn't a long road trip, but a 3-game road trip. And the Jets took care of business. This game wasn't close. In the second period there, they really could have ended it. But again, the too many men calls, the soft or not, whatever you want to call it, goal given up by Laurent Brossoit. And that made it a bit of a game. But up until that point and after that, the Jets just completely dominated. And it was a great follow-up to the St. Louis game where they dominated that one as well. And if they can keep stringing these together and you get Dallas coming in on Saturday, that's a huge game against a team you're chasing. You're not looking at the standings this early in the season, but Dallas is ahead, and they are one of the best teams in the West. your second game of a 5-game homestand. You want to keep that good feeling going. Connor Hrabchak, I would assume, would get the start. And you want to see a good game out of him, given what he's been like recently in the St. Louis game. Not too many goals against, but kind of all over the place. Needed Dylan DeMello to make some saves. But yeah, just a great game all around. A good follow-up from the St. Louis one. And if they can keep this going against Dallas, they are like kind of cooking with fire here. And when Gabe Vilardi comes back, like it's just going to be a snowball effect of good things if they can keep this going.